Let me ask you an honest question. If walking every day was enough to keep us strong after 60, why do so many people who walk regularly still feel weaker year after year? Why does getting up from a chair feel harder? Why do stairs suddenly demand a handrail? Why does balance feel less reliable, even though you're doing everything right? Now, before anyone gets upset, let me be very clear. Walking is good. Walking is healthy. Walking absolutely has its place. But here's something most people are never told. Walking alone does not train the muscles that protect your independence. And that's not an opinion. It's what the research and decades of real-world experience keep showing. One major study found that normal walking activates only a small portion of your glutes, the large muscles in your hips that help you stand up, climb stairs, stabilize your body, and catch yourself if you stumble. That means you can be walking every single day and still slowly losing the very strength that keeps you steady. That's not because you're failing, it's because your body needs specific signals, not just movement. Here's the part that really matters. The people who are often most careful, the ones who avoid strain, avoid challenge, avoid overdoing it, are often the ones who lose strength the fastest, not because they're doing something wrong, but because certain muscles quietly stop being invited to work. And when those muscles go dormant, the change is subtle. You don't wake up one day unable to move. It happens slowly. Balance fades just a little. Rising from a chair takes just a little more effort. You start planning movements instead of trusting them, and one day you realize something has changed. But you can't point to the exact moment it started. That's what we're here to interrupt today. Because the good news is this: you don't need extreme workouts. You don't need to punish your body. And you definitely don't need to act young. What you need are the right movements. Movements that wake up the muscles walking doesn't fully reach. In this video, I'm going to share 5 essential exercises every adult over 60 should know if they want to stay strong, steady, and independent. They're joint friendly, they're backed by real science, and they're focused on one critical area most people overlook: the glutes, the muscles that quietly control balance, posture, and confidence. We'll count down from number 5 to number 1. And trust me, the last one may surprise you, but before we begin, let's slow down for a moment. Tell me your name and where you're watching from. We have people here from California to Florida, Kansas to Oregon, and we truly read every comment. Say hello. You're not alone in this. Alright, let's start with exercise number 5. A movement that looks simple, but reveals more about real-life strength than almost anything else. Exercise number 5. Step-ups, the real-life strength test. Let's start with an exercise that doesn't even feel like exercise. In fact, you do a version of it all the time without thinking about it. Stepping up onto a curb, up a stair, into a bus, over a threshold. Most people never stop to consider how important that single movement really is. But after 60, your ability to step up using one leg at a time becomes one of the clearest indicators of real-world strength and balance. Here's why. Walking uses both legs together, one foot forward, then the other. Step-ups are different. They ask one leg to lift your full body weight, stabilize your hips, keep your knee aligned, and support you while the other foot leaves the ground. That's exactly what happens in daily life, and if you haven't been training that ability, it slowly fades. Not all at once, quietly. One day you notice you always grab the railing. Another day you avoid certain stairs altogether. That's not weakness. That's untrained strength. Step-ups wake those muscles back up, especially the glutes and the stabilizers around your hips and core. These are the muscles that help you rise from low chairs, climb stairs with confidence, catch yourself if you trip. And here's the best part. You don't need a gym. A safe version at home looks like this. Use a low step or platform, about 6 to 10 inches high. A sturdy stair works well. Place your entire foot on the step. Press through your heel. Slowly lift yourself up until you're standing tall. No jumping, no rushing, then step back down with control. Hold onto a wall or chair for balance if needed. That's smart, not weak. Start with 8 repetitions per leg. Do 2 or 3 sets, 2 to 3 times per week, and go slowly. The slower you move, the more your muscles have to work. People who practice step-ups consistently often notice stronger legs, better balance on stairs. more confident stepping onto uneven surfaces. And here's something important to remember. Every step up is more than exercise. It's a message to your nervous system that says, I'm still capable. I can still rise. Now let me ask you something. Have you ever noticed stairs feeling harder than they used to, even though you still walk regularly? If so, you're not alone. Drop a quick comment below and let us know. And when you're ready, we'll move on to the next exercise. A small movement with a surprisingly big impact on posture and back comfort. Exercise number 4. Glute kickbacks, the small move that restores posture. Now let's talk about an exercise that almost everyone underestimates. It looks tiny, it feels gentle, and because of that, it often gets skipped. Glute kickbacks. At first glance, it's just a small leg lift. How much difference could that really make? As it turns out, a lot. Here's why. As we get older, one of the first things the body forgets is how to extend the hip properly. Instead of using the glutes to power movement, the body starts borrowing from the lower back and hamstrings. That's when posture begins to change. Steps get shorter, and the lower back starts doing work it was never meant to do. Over time, this compensation can lead to stiffness, fatigue, and discomfort. Even if you're staying active, glute kickbacks help correct that. They retrain the brain to say this is the muscle that should be working. When your glutes fire the way they're supposed to, walking feels smoother. Standing feels taller. The lower back gets a break. This exercise isn't about height or speed. It's about connection. Here's how to do it safely at home. Stand behind a sturdy chair or countertop. Lightly hold it for balance. Keep your chest tall and your back neutral. Now slowly lift one leg straight behind you. Not high, just a few inches. The movement should come from your hip, not your lower back. Hold at the top for 1 to 2 seconds, gently squeezing the glute. Then lower the leg slowly. Start with 10 to 12 repetitions per leg and do 2 or 3 sets. That's it. If you feel it in your lower back, reduce the height. This exercise works best when it's small and controlled. People who practice glute kickbacks consistently often notice improved posture, less strain in the lower back, a more confident walking stride. And here's something encouraging. Even though this movement is simple, it helps wake up muscles that may have been quiet for years, one small lift at a time. Before we move on, let me ask you, have you ever been told you have tight hips or a weak back? Often it's not the back at all, it's sleepy glutes. If that sounds familiar, drop a quick comment below. Next, we're going to the floor, but don't worry. The next exercise looks easy and turns out to be one of the most powerful strength builders for adults over 60. Exercise number 3, glute bridges, strength built from the ground up. Now, I want to talk about an exercise that surprises a lot of people because it doesn't look like exercise at all. You're lying down, no weights, no standing, no fast movement, and yet this simple position is one of the most powerful ways to rebuild strength in your hips, protect your back, and improve posture after 60. It's called the glute bridge. Here's why it matters so much. As we age, many people lose the ability to activate their glutes without also straining their lower back. The brain forgets the proper firing order. So instead of your hips doing the work, your spine takes over, and that's when back discomfort creeps in. The glute bridge helps reverse that pattern. It teaches your body how to lift using the hips again, and that has ripple effects throughout your day. Standing feels easier. Walking feels smoother. Your posture naturally improves. A major benefit of this exercise is that it's low risk. You're on the floor, stable, supported. Here's how to do it safely. Lie on a mat or firm surface. Bend your knees and place your feet flat on the floor, about hip width apart. Your arms can rest comfortably at your sides. Now gently tighten your glutes and lift your hips until your body forms a straight line from shoulders to knees. No arching, no pushing too high. Hold for 2 to 3 seconds, then slowly lower back down. That's 1 repetition. Aim for 12 to 15 repetitions and complete 2 or 3 sets. Move slowly. Control matters more than speed. If you want a little extra support, place a pillow or rolled towel between your knees. That helps keep your hips aligned and engages additional stabilizing muscles. Many people notice changes quickly. Less lower back tension, better control when standing up, a feeling of strength through the hips. And here's something important to remember. Strength doesn't always feel dramatic. Sometimes it feels like ease, like effort disappearing. This movement quietly teaches your body how to support itself again. Now we're going to move back into a seated position for the next exercise. It targets a muscle most people never think about, yet it plays a major role in balance and fall prevention. Exercise number 2, seated band abductions, the invisible muscle that keeps you steady. Now let's talk about a muscle group most people don't even know exists. You won't see it in the mirror, you don't feel it working when you walk, and yet it plays a major role in whether you feel steady or wobbly. These are your side glutes, the muscles on the outside of your hips. They don't get much attention, but they do something incredibly important. Every time you stand on one leg, even briefly, shift your weight, turn while walking, recover from a small trip, these muscles fire to keep your body upright. When they weaken, your body starts to sway slightly from side to side with each step. At first, it's barely noticeable, but over time, that sway puts extra stress on the knees and lower back and increases fall risk. The good news, you can strengthen these muscles while sitting down. That's what makes seated band abductions so valuable. Here's how to do them safely. Sit on a firm chair with your back upright and feet flat on the floor. Place a light resistance band just above your knees. If you don't have a band, that's okay. You can start without one. Now slowly press your knees outward. Keep your feet planted. Move only as far as feels comfortable. Hold that position for 1 to 2 seconds, then slowly return to the starting position. That's 1 repetition. Aim for 12 to 15 repetitions and do 2 or 3 sets. The key here is control. The slower you move, the more these muscles have to work. You might be surprised by how challenging this feels, especially if these muscles haven't been used much. People who add this exercise often notice better balance, less side-to-side wobble when walking, improved knee comfort. And here's an important point. This exercise doesn't look impressive, but it trains the muscles that help you recover if something goes wrong. That moment when you catch yourself instead of falling, these muscles are often the reason. Before we move on, let me ask you something. Have you ever felt a little unsteady even when standing still? If so, you're not alone. And this exercise was made for exactly that. Drop a comment below if balance has ever worried you. Now we're ready for the final exercise. The most challenging, but also the most empowering when done the right way. Exercise number 1, the supported split squat and why this movement changes everything. Now we've reached the final exercise, and I want to start by saying something important right away. If the name of this movement sounds intimidating, forget the name. What matters is the purpose. This exercise trains one thing better than almost anything else: your ability to support yourself on one leg, and that ability affects nearly everything you do: walking, turning, climbing stairs, stepping off a curb, catching yourself if you slip. Real life is full of one-leg moments, but most exercises don't prepare you for that. That's why this movement, a supported split squat, is so powerful when done the right way. Support is not a weakness here, it's the entire point. Here's how to do a safe, senior-friendly version at home. Stand a couple of feet in front of a sturdy chair or low bench. Place the top of one foot behind you on the chair. Now, and this is important, hold on to something solid in front of you. A countertop, a chair, a wall. This is about control, not balance bravado. Slowly bend your front knee and lower yourself just a little. You don't need to go deep. Keep your chest tall. Make sure your front knee stays in line with your foot. Then gently press through your front heel to stand back up. That's 1 repetition. Start with 6 to 8 reps per leg and do 2 or 3 sets. Go slow. Move with intention. At first, this may feel challenging, and that's okay. What you're doing is waking up muscles that protect your hips, knees, and balance all at once. People who practice this movement often notice something surprising: not just stronger legs, but more trust in their body. They stop favoring one side. They stop avoiding stairs. They move with more confidence, and that confidence changes everything. Let me tell you something I've seen again and again. It's not weakness that limits people as they age. It's uncertainty, the fear that your body won't respond when you need it to. These exercises, especially this one, rebuild certainty. Now let's bring this all together. Walking is still valuable. Please don't stop walking, but walking is the start, not the solution. When you combine walking with step-ups, glute kickbacks, glute bridges, seated band abductions, and supported split squats, you give your body what it actually needs at this stage of life. Strength where it matters, stability where it counts, confidence where it's been slipping away. And here's the most important part: you don't need to do everything today. Pick one exercise from this list, just one. Do it consistently for a couple of weeks, then add another. At this stage of life, your body doesn't reward intensity, it rewards consistency. Before we wrap up, I'd love to hear from you. Which of these 5 exercises surprised you the most? Or which one feels like the right place to start? Leave a comment below. Your experience might be exactly what someone else needs to read today. And if you believe aging should be empowering, not limiting, consider subscribing and sharing this video, because your next chapter doesn't start at the doctor's office. It starts when you move with purpose.